Hello and welcome to another tutorial. I've been doing Machinecraft lately, so I haven't been getting a lot of these, but I am, as always, open to do requests. So today I've been requested to make a plane tutorial, and boy, that's going to be a fun one. So, in a nutshell, we're going to need a plane graft. The plane itself isn't really that important. You can build a plane out of virtually anything. The important part is how it flies. And the best way to do it, the most precise, most consistent, most easily repeatable way to do it is to build a graft. Grafts are not perfect, and they certainly have their trade-offs in terms of cost and complexity, so this will be a more difficult tutorial, I would say, but on the whole, I think we're going to be doing a pretty fun one here today. So, let's see. We're going to start off with just a core. Core doesn't matter that much, and we're just going to make this some sort of dainty little plane, maybe. I don't know. No, let's go heavy hull. I want to make sure the principles I'm using here can work with heavy hull. It's been a lot of rebalancing lately with tractor speeds and heavy hulls, so I will probably regret this horribly. But you don't know until you try. So might as well at least give it a shot, right? And yeah, all right. Details aren't really that important. I'm just gonna make some really basic ones that are just horribly uncreative. Look at this needle nose. This is like the most hideous thing. That's kind of the point, honestly. This is meant to look stupid because it's not really supposed to be that great. I'm just going to MS paint the crap out of this tank. Whoops. I messed something up here. Oh, that's what I messed up. I want to make sure that there's actually a slight amount of imbalance here. There's not a lot to say about this, but as long as there's some imbalance, this will test how well the graft can work against the machines of or the flaws of the machine, I should say. Because aircraft, if you want to build them legitimately and logically, require a shitload of precision, and I am not exaggerating when I say a shitload. It is an ungodly amount of precision needed. Sometimes it is absolutely infuriating if you try to make a legitimate aircraft. Let's see. I think here we're just going to slap on some wings. And these wings are going to have no moving parts because you don't really need any. It's a pretty simple philosophy. Not exactly what a lot of people want to hear, I'm sure, but if it doesn't need to be complex, why make it complex? He said about to make an extremely complex graft, but oh well. Looks like absolutely horrible. Well, actually, I've done worse. I hate to admit that much. Yeah, not all that good. That's going to be one of our wings. I'm just going to repeat that on the other side. This is how many blocks long? Yeah, it's about 5 blocks long. Yeah, I think that'll work out. Good, I'm gonna do that piece. And yeah, there's a little crappy wings, and we're just gonna add a little bit of the tail here. And yeah, this plane is probably going to perform like crap. It's not meant to perform well. It's just meant to be a basis, of course, as I've probably stated 1 quintillion times by now. And by the time we're done here, it will be 1 decitillion, so make sure you're counting all them digits. Yeah, we're just gonna add some crappy little plane tailing. This needs to be good, and more of it's not meant to be good. Whoops, I screwed up, didn't I? Yeah. There we go. The unscrew up button coming to a store near you. Okay, now the good news is, after all this really annoying toying with everything, I think we have our basic plane graft. And it's not a fantastic plane, but it's kind of like remotely seagull or dolphin or something looking. Somewhere between a fish and a bird. Oh yeah, we need a little bit of a tail fin here just for shits and giggles. But it'll also be said that this level of rounding I'm using with the inner corner, outer slab, like I'm using on the bend here. It's probably one of my favorite combinations of sculpting, so that's why I'm using that primarily. This looks very round, and you don't get a lot of round in this game when it comes to using chassis blocks, so it's a pretty good workout, I would say. Or it's a pretty good setup. It works out, I should rather say. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, center balance is about here, which is going to be my guess. And actually we're going to do two things. And one of them is not give a shit, and the other one is add in a coupler to move this coupler, so the coupler can be more precise. And you're saying, can't you just adjust the offset on the other side of the coupler? Well, yes, actually you can, but the problem is with that, quite frankly, it just doesn't always work as intended. Sometimes you have to do different offsets for different stuff, and you're using it to get the centering, so if you have to do rotation or other stuff with the coupler, having it compressed to the proper position without needing coupler offsets allows you to be creative on both ends, which is very important, I would say, for projects such as this. Let's see. Yeah, no, we need minus 250 to be fully accurate. There we go. Right, I'm just going to mark this as single, which will make it act like a compression spring all in its single piece. So if we make a coupler right here, and we just tape a red piece of chassis, which is bright neon red, like the sun. Oh, yeah, well, not sure how much I can fault the setup for that one. We can add an offset for that later. This guy was doing minus 100 test. And right, if I'm not mistaken, it should be inside the center of balance. Yeah, that's just a crappy example. So I'm just going to wipe all the coordinates on this. And the next thing we're going to need to do is actually put the entire thing on a cob, I'm just going to call it. It's not really a technical term, really, but I'm making it one as of now. Yeah, I think about now. That's good. So yeah, we're just going to add some speed rotators, and we're just going to duct tape these on to both ends. Make sure, yeah, we're all heavy hole. Good, good. Yeah, we're just going to take our color, set to 0 translucent for invisible, because that's very important. And we're going to take some spare chassis, convert it back to light group, make that invisible. And we're just going to make a bit of a ring around the outline here. The ring isn't exceptionally important, but it helps to keep all unified together when it's turning, so you don't get any weird desync or anything like that. And generally just keeps the whole thing locked up as one tight fam. And I am just now abusing slang at this point, so pardon me for that. Let's see, so we're going to go and rebind our controls now in the assignment. We're going to want a few things. We're going to want pitch, we're going to want roll, and yaw's probably going to be automatic. I'm not entirely sure. Actually, we're just going to do this pretty basic, I think. I'm playing a lot of planet side since the last time I built a plane, so I have a better appreciation of how a plane should properly fly. And quite frankly, it should make a handful of improvements to this build. Just in terms of efficiency and immersion, and not really sacrificing much in return if this works out how I think it will. So the first thing we're actually going to add is we're going to add some gears. And the gears aren't exceptionally important, but they are certainly handy. And we're just going to assign these numpad. And these are going to be our different speeds and throttles, which I find are pretty nice. Just take the tip of sip of T here, tip of C. Yeah, tip the entire C over, and I'll show that bastard. And that's how you end up getting lost at sea for a million years like Odysseus. Anyways, right, what else we're going to need is rolling keys. And we're just going to add roll left, roll right, and we're going to make that Q and E respectively, so it can just spin right next to WASD. Very convenient. And we're going to have a reset roll key, or re-roll. And that's going to be Q and E, and that will not be toggle based. Right. So these forward keys, these are like, God. We're going to make these force yaw keys, and we're going to make this pitch down and pitch up. And yes, S is going to shove things up, and W is going to shove things down. It's kind of something you have to get used to. If you don't want to invert them, I don't blame you, but I have a lot of muscle memory, so for me, W and S is what I'm going to default to in plane mode. That's what I did on the Helios, and I have had horrible amounts of addiction to things ever since. It's when I understood how the Helios mechanically interacted with its plane mode that it started making way more sense just automatically to push W and S, which I guess is how airplane controls happen in real life, probably. It just mechanically made sense. Right. Yeah, we're just going to install some nose guns. And that's just going to be some left mouse goodness. And nose aim. It's going to be right mouse, and it's going to be a toggle. We have an optics key, which will zoom us into the cockpit window a bit. And this is one of the areas in which building a plane is tricky, because the slightest amount of any part aiming, whether it be a camera or a turret or just nose guns, will affect the aim and flight pattern of the craft. Planes are a son of a bitch to design for that exact reason, and that exact reason alone. Because you can build an excellent plane, you can build a balanced plane, you can build a plane that works so well, but the moment you turn on that gun, it starts tipping over and doing all sorts of crazy shit, and you will have to train extensively to be able to compensate for it 80% of the time minimum. It's a pain, but if we design this right, which we probably won't, but I'll always try, this might work out exactly how we want. So we're going to program our corn copier with 3 settings. I think neutral is going to be 0, probably, I don't know. Let's see, roll left, whoops, roll right. Let's see, so left needs to spin minus 100, plus 100. Well, actually, does it? Oh, actually, I already fucked up. I think we're going to need to place our core somewhere else. I'm going to use a cheat sheet real quick. I'll be right back. Right, consulted with the cheat sheet. We should have the core on the craft itself. I'm not exactly sure how the hell I came up with some of this text sometimes, but I did and it works, so yeah. This just shows how rusty I am. And right, we're going to copy and paste and invert the settings here, if you're not aware. That's because they are opposite rotators going opposite directions, so you should apply the opposite effects to get the same effect. Now for reroll, I'm not entirely sure how the hell we're going to pull this one off. I think we set it to like stop. That might do what we want, or it might just fuck us over. Just going to WW that again with the copy paste, and alright, we're also going to install neutral angle 0. I'm probably actually going to screw this up. I'm pretty sure I have stop and neutral backwards. I don't even need a neutral event necessarily, but let's find out. Actually, I can't see anything spinning, so that's an incredibly stupid thing to try and check. So we're going to add some visibility to this for just a moment and see if we can gauge what's going on. Alright, so just going to roll that. Yeah, actually we do have neutral and re-roll backward. Look at that. Just resetting the crap out of things. Now you're wondering, how the hell is the spinning corn cob craft going to end up actually rolling the craft? Because the only thing that's rolling the craft right now is flipping it off the ground. And that is entirely true. But that's kind of what we wanted. And you'll see in a minute. So basically our evil scheme here is it will reset roll when you reset roll, so you can reset your roll angle properly. But we're actually going to anchor some other stuff on top of it. It's going to be our secret weapon in this war. Holy shit, middle mouse fucking respond. Holy shit. Now my mouse is acting up right now. It's doing this increasingly lately, but it's pretty rare, and it goes away pretty quickly usually. So that should give us our automatically reset roll when we push Q and E combined, so we don't need an extra control, but we can reset roll tidally. So now we're going to need to install the actual grafty bits, and there's kind of an angle to how this is done, so it's going to get interesting, that's for sure. And yeah, we're just going to slap on another coupler here. I'm just going to add 25 to it, like so. Oops, that was 24. I'm going to copy, paste, get a new section going. So now what we're going to do is we're going to undo the graft bullshit we just did. We're going to make the graft legitimately now. And it's going to be a absolutely ugly abomination of a mess, but we're going to have to deal with that. And if you're thinking, wow, this tutorial's taking ages, yeah, that's called planes. Congratulations. And that's 5. Right, space this fucker back out. Right. Yeah, and this is the exact same concept and operation, and if we're lucky, it won't be so ridiculous as to just completely overpower the entire apparatus. But what we're going to do is we're going to up spring to 100, and we're going to keep damper at 50, and we'll apply it to both rotators, and this will actually increase their turning force greatly. And we will probably end up with complete and total goddamn overkill. And that's just the simple fact of the matter. Look at that, we are the perfect corn cob right now. Right. And yeah, so now our balance is just completely fucked. We have to figure out why. Alright, so our rolling is actually backwards, which I had feared. Because the rolling we're actually getting is Newtonian reaction to the core, which is usually pretty damn hard to reproduce. So we're just going to turn this down, and holy shit, are we spinning crazy. So we're going to nerf the roll to about a fifth of what it is currently. And we're going to lower the spin to about 70. I'm going to make the call. And this is all part of the fine-tuning. Not that much to say, it's a plane needs lots of fine-tuning. It says 100 times, but like I said, I'm saying a million times. A decitillion times, a septillion times. Man, I knew all those hours playing Zombie were going to pay off. Right, so, and that is now, no, is that? Wow, actually that is severely underpowered is a big problem. So it's just flopping around everywhere, holy shit. So we're just going to up the spring to 100 and give it another beat test. Might get a better result, might not. I'll have to check my cheat sheet here in a minute anyways. Yeah, this is pretty good rotation, but it's slowing down as we expected, and it's getting irregular. Whoosh, whoosh. Right, so time to go figure out what the fuck's going on. Be right back from the cheat sheet. Alright, so it's come to my attention. I am officially a freaking wizard. So, time to just copy some of that magic I just looked up. And this is basically what I did to stabilize the weight on the other version of the craft, I guess. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me why I would do this and how, but it's what I did, so it's what we're doing. It's pretty ridiculous, suffice to say. And this will probably still fuck me over, but let's at least make sure first. Actually, yeah, okay, well, we're yanking upwards. And continuously, I am not... Oh, you know why we're yanking upwards? I'm such a dumbass. This is why we're yanking upwards. I never compressed in the goddamn coupler. This is the problem all along. So if you want to hate me for that, hate me for that. But figured it out. I realized I forgot exactly one step, and it exactly bit me straight in the ass. Minus 400 on a single coupler should probably solve the problem. I don't know. Let's find out. Yeah. So spin. Spinning spins clean. Does it get irregular is the question. It is actually getting a bit irregular still, so I'm a little mad at that, but I think all in all it's performing pretty well. And yeah, it will kind of even out to where its roll actually is. That is a very common effect with these. But if we just Q and E it, it should stabilize relatively soon. Yeah. Right, you can't really set up a tracker for roll, otherwise we would attempt to set up a tracker for roll to aid the stabilization. But that's not really a practical thing. Yeah, okay, so next thing we're going to have to do is we have to install a second layer black box on the chassis of the plane. I'm either doing this right or I'm doing this wrong. We're getting a lot of experimentation here. The cheat sheet is so outdated, we're having to do a lot of science on the fly. I'm getting an interesting question over here in Discord. Right, anyways. And, yeah, let's see. Slap the ring on either end, why not? Yeah, and here we go. This is going to be the shittiest way to do this, but it is the best way to do this. Previously I was using a set of 1 billion hinges, holds pinky to chin, but that didn't really work out so well because, of course it did. It's 1 billion hinges. It was the most brute force solution I've ever seen. It's a pinch down. Well, actually, yeah. So we'll want to pitch down on this. I'm gonna set this about 100, probably. And this might either cause runaway rolling if we do it too strongly, or a lack of runaway rolling, depending on if it's too weak. Oh, it's punch you. Wow, I just now realized that I did punch you. Well, I need to get punched in the dick for that one. There we go. Anyways. Yeah, so we got pitch you. we're going to do is we're going to do a quick little trick here, picked up from Japanese people labeling their hectic creations before the time of couplers. We're just going to yank this guy in, slap him, make this sucker a little pointy house, show a little pointy roof, and we can make this have red for down. We're going to have green for up. We're just going to point to these sets of thrusters so we can quickly identify which one does which, or which one should do which. Best case scenario. Next we go boom, green, boom, and boom, green, boom. Right, so that should cover that, and we've probably horribly fucked up a whole bunch of things, but time to find out. And yes, my lack of confidence in the machine is astounding. So we have runway roll, rather runway pitch, but we are more or less rolling depending on how you look at it. And that is with both axes, yeah. Right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take these thrusters, we're going to chop them down to 1 unit each. And we're going to do that to make sure we don't have runway roll. And now if we don't wrap around when we apply the force, we've done this correctly. The idea is that we're going to tilt it, and this will slightly adjust the elevation up or down. Like this. Yeah, this is what I wanted, yeah. Alright, shit, I'm going to set that to about 65. I'm going to set that about 70 for each thruster, considering the fact that physics weight versus force is not really perfectly symmetrical. Oh, okay, not symmetrical, but more like it's almost logarithmic to some sense. You know, it gets harder and harder to move X at X speed. Let's see, that's going to tilt the craft bit up, craft bit down, and you can totally pendulum the crap out of this and just go out of control, but that's something we're going to have to just learn to live with. Yeah, this is currently done on, yeah, so when we do this, it should pitch the entire craft, which is actually what we want, and it is relative to the plane's rotation, and that is incredibly key, and you will see why here in a bit. So, crap, let's, actually we have one more test to give this thing. We have to roll it, and then we have to pitch it. We want to see if rolling it and then pitching it will cause a rotation of the craft. Oh, it will, that's how you yaw, baby. Alright, perfect, and just straighten back out here. Perfect. Great. Okay, I am becoming very slightly content with this craft. So we're going to add some nose guns. And how we're going to do that is quite simple. Dummy, 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 dummy. Dummy, 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 dummy. Maybe big boy. Right, so. Shit. Yeah, we're just going to do some more compressing garbage. Like we did last time. I'm actually going to label this one red because it's no longer a black box. It's actual legitimate parts being coupled in. That's my protocol personally, is that whether or not it's a black box will determine whether or not I treat it like utter garbage. Right, so yeah, I should handle that. And yeah, we're just going to add the other end of this coupler. I'm going to add this over here because I don't like how much downward space we don't have. I'm just going to slap this sucker on each end. Yeah, we start slapping some cannons next, and I'm not really sure what kind of guns we're going to use. Like, actually, I know exactly what kind of guns we're going to use. We're going to use a complete and total blunderbuss set of guns, because aiming is for chumps, scientific fact. 10 out of 10 scientists who can't shoot guns believe, or agree. Yep, totally fucked that one up. Right, so, actually, we've got one last thing. We're just going to cram. Thinking, wow, these round cannons won't connect, and you're right, which is why we just, duct tape the back end of these invisible chassis blocks. What they don't know won't hurt them, as the saying goes. And yeah, oh, whoops, actually these are pointed the wrong direction. Right, so yeah, we're just gonna basically quadruple or higher compress these guns. And you're thinking, that might make the guns not be able to aim for shit. And that's the point. These are nose guns. These things are... The fact that they will only aim and pitch to a limited degree, I guess probably literally in terms of using the word degree, but that is entirely intentional. Basically, what's going to be our secret is that with the amount of spread we have, we will land a consistent number of hits regardless of our gunnery. And if we get the spread just right, which I don't think I'm going to right now, I'll tell you I'll tell you straight up, I don't think we're going to get this right the first try. It should ideally create a level of reliability to using the guns, and they could be good at a number of ranges against a number of opponents. But if we totally screw up the spread, we will totally screw ourselves over. And we might add a secondary fire that is more accurate, or possibly guns mounted on these guns or something ridiculous like that. And yeah, that will help us get the right amount of spam fire while also still having precision fire on backup, which is something we will definitely want. Today I'm realizing this kit is a -100Z offset. See, glad I did this. And currently this thing cannot aim worth half a shit, so what we're going to do is quite simple. We're going to actually complexify this building even more, because screw it, why not? This thing's already a catastrophe in terms of complexity. Shove, right? And yeah, gosh, it's going to be ugly as hell. It's going to be so ugly, I will be tempted to marry because I have horrible self-esteem issues. But, moreover, yeah, we're just going to wrap this back around. Gosh, this is such an ugly solution. But I think it's going to work. Right. Actually, yeah, these things are all in one giant block. What am I even thinking? Right, so, with this setup, we should be able to tape on a pair of rotators, and as long as we get a tracker from equal distance from these rotators, it should control both of them, and I just totally mispainted my shit. Awesome. Right, so, we're going to go, nose, oh, whoops, actually, these don't need events, who am I kidding? What they do need, though, is events for upper and lower limit. Let's see, so, okay, upper and lower definition, upper of, I don't know, 40, 50, something like that, lower of minus, well, there's no reason, it should be theoretically totally symmetrical on what it can and cannot aim against. Whoops, I'm an idiot. Right, and that'll fix that, and let's double check that with my head here. Yeah, but yeah, we're just going to do that. It should theoretically not make a difference, but I'm a dumbass, so I'll play with fire unnecessarily. And yeah, this is going to get interesting. Add this to 4, or set this to 400 rather. Let's see, neutral 100, or whoops, yeah, neutral 0, spring 70, could spring 100, but I'm not going to. And we change that neutral event to a nose aim, and we're going to program nose gun into some of these guns. We're going to set them with a division of 8, and it's very simple. 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, go 2, 4, 6. It'll be no 8 because of course not. This sucker's going to be 1, 3, 5, 7. And yeah, we're doing pretty good here. 2. Right, so that should cover all those little nose gun bits. And theoretically it should only aim after pressing right mouse and toggling. And we're going to enable collisions here and hate ourselves. Oh yeah, hating myself pun. Yeah, you know, actually that's kind of about the level spread I wanted. That's really good. That will absolutely annihilate our energy merited, but we'll have to live with that knowledge. I'm not about to lose any Z's over it, so I'm just going to dummy back another block, and this is a horrible solution, which is compromising our statistical integrity somewhat, but it's not going to be world ending, so that's okay. Look at that. Look at that destruction. Look at that. Okay, great. So, that covers that. One thing we're going to want is well, actually, so the nose guns are aiming pitch. We aim with pitch manually, so what we're going to do is actually probably increase the range of aim here. And anti-ground is more important than anti-air, but we're going to go 70 and 50 on our ranges. If you haven't checked this out, these are 70 minus 50 on the left and 50 minus 70 on the right. And that should give us way more nose gun aim. That way we can apply the minimal amount of skill in piloting this while still pelting shit with lead. Our AGGs are way too strong now that we've compromised on grabbing a little dummy, but it's not really that bad. Right, so that looks pretty good. What else do we want to do? Well, hard to say. We're probably going to have to slap some lasers on these. And this is kind of something I do with almost all my bots, so if you hate this step, I don't blame you. Especially if you've done a lot of my tutorials and you just don't see the point of these. But to each their own, and I tend to find that these make aiming a hell of a lot easier. So yeah, we're going to do this. Add less weight, which is going to be a key factor here. Emissive translucence, and to 150. Actually, I guess I'll go 250. Yeah, that's the numbers I'm looking for. Cylinder, and that's all we need. Actually, I lied. So we'll go like 300. Yeah. Right, and using this single coupler, we can also do some more compression tricks with that. But for now, we're going to need 3 compression pistons. Actually, 2 compression pistons. I'll set this to 400 now. Right, so we're going to paint these invisible. Merge. And neutral 1000. Neutral 1000 has a 100 edge. I'm going to set this to cone. That creates a very long-range laser. Way more long-range than we'll probably ever need, but hey, rather be on the overkill end of things than the underkill of things. And yeah, I'm going to slap this on, and then we're just going to merge this along a double joint. This is kind of way not my norm, but I think it'll work out nicely. Set this to... Oh, also, we need a laser key. Oh, no, we don't. We're going to have a flight aim key already. We might even save the lasers for once firing's already progressing. But either plug in nose aim or nose gun, depending on whether or not you want them to only be on during firing or not. Let's see, nose aim. I'm going to go with nose aim. It's not very stealthy, but you can always toggle the whether or not it's firing pretty easily. So neutral is going to be free, and then nose aim is going to be stop. We're going to increase this to 300x. We're going to drag this back around. And dear God, if this is the longest tutorial I've done in freaking ages. Oh, I've got the copy set of that joint. I'm a dumbass. There we go. I should fix that. Right. And, whoops. There we go. Right. So I've got that. And we're just going to plug back in all this laser stuff. And one last thing we're going to remember to do, that I didn't remember to do, is make these dummy. Thinking, why make a dummy? I'm saying because, make a dummy. Right. Cool. So, we've got our guns. Looking pretty good. These are total uses in third person. So next thing we're going to do is actually add a camera. And this camera will probably be complete and utter garbage because plain cameras just tend to suck ass like that. There's just so much stuff wrong with them. But I guess we'll actually just trim down this nose a little bit. So we can kind of look over it a little bit more, I guess. Yeah, that's our plane. That's our plane's plan. Right, so I'm just going to add another compressed coupler and another red coupler. Whoops. This sucker 50. So minus 200 is what we want. Just going to drag the camera all the way up here. Okay, cracking on it. Right, so we're going to need more compression couplers. And I'm just going to drag these suckers to minus 200. And we're going to do the completely normie camera setup, which is like the most uncreative thing by now. Right, that's all we really need. Oh, I guess we're going to set upper limit to about 60 and lower limit to about minus 60. That is about the lowest you probably want a camera, or else it will start getting really hard to tell what the hell is going on with how awkwardly it is placed. So, I'm going to do that. We're going to slap all that shit together. And we're just going to start painting everything up all nice and pretty. I'm going to set these to be optics, so the camera will reset when not, using optics, which is key if you're in an airplane and you don't want to just fuck everything up all the time. I'm going to set the spring to 100, which I will totally regret because this is a sensitive airplane. But spring 100 tends to give you the best mouse sensitivity for mouse look, and I find that to be incredibly handy in low tolerance combat. I'm just going to name it. Same deal, neutral 0. Actually, these are S rotators. Oh god, I've already fucked up. Changing this to an A rotator. Ooh, spooky. And yeah, same deal. Upper limit 60, lower limit 60. And just swap this fucker out with an A hinge. Upper limit doesn't matter actually. So we just set this to neutral 0, and that's the last thing we need. I'm going to slap on a -200x, a tracker, and then another compressor, and then one last bit, which is the scope itself. I'm going to bind this to optics free, which gives you variable zoom using a mouse wheel or page up and page down. You should absolutely know that by now, but if you don't, there's a cool pro tip for you. Free is like the single best setting on cameras ever. Close range, long range, whatever. Way less controls, way more convenience. And as you can see, we're already seeing it way through ourselves, and it is absolutely horrendous to have to deal with. Yeah, see, our camera's just absolute fucking garbage. Absolute, just utter trash. Right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to fix our shit. Wow, who would have thought, yeah? Yeah. So, because this is total pain in the ass to fucking aim with, we're going to set this to +100. And I'm going to roll the dice, and I'm going to go -50. Why? I'm totally going to regret this. Yeah, this is still garbage. Dear God. Somebody save us. So, I'm just going to fuck the camera really hardcore now and set this to 200 and -50. And we might aim down the nose a little bit, which might get more like rotating at some angles. You know, actually, this is about what I wanted all along. Now, the guns are aiming a bit low, you will notice. This is not something that we want. So we're actually going to calibrate the guns by maybe about, looks like a job for about four calibration units should about cover it. Let's see how wrong I am. I remember to drink my goddamn iced tea. Right, so you can see we're totally overcompensating now. And this is almost accurate at some angles. So that's good. That's an improvement versus what I expected. So we're going to crank this down to 3. And 3, I think, will be just accurate enough. It will be inaccurate at high angles, but accurate at low angles. Saying we're probably going to be shooting shit on the ground. That's a pretty good option to have. Yeah, we're just filling this fucker full of lead. Easy as pie. And yeah, there we go. So totally just smashing the place up. That's exactly what we want. Now, what to do is very hard to say. What we are going to do, though, is I understand that there is a bombing feature you can do these days, and I have yet to try it, so we're totally going to try it. So we're going to add more compression couplers. Yay. I'm going to set this sucker to 300 in just a moment. Let's get this nice little rib going. Right, I'm going to slap on some launchers, and the launchers can probably be invisible, seeing that they're going to be embedded inside the body of the craft. And yeah, this whole bombs key, and the bombs key is probably going to be, I don't know, X, I don't know, we'll just get lazy and make it X. Right, so now what's going to happen is we're going to dumbfire these launchers, and they're going to be set in underwater mode, and if that, I don't know if it works with dumbfire in combination, but basically it allows the bombs to only fly once they're in water. So you could like drop these in the water and use them as torpedoes. Or you could just drop them on people and blow shit up. I mean, the answer is pretty obvious, I like to think. So I'm going to set these to 5 seconds. It's not going to refire as fast as I'd want, but it's solid enough refire and still has enough time to hit the ground, which is very important. Alright, we're going to do 2 events because that's how this shit works. And hopefully this will just totally bombard the crap out of everything. Let's see. That's not firing. That's a good sign. It's because these things don't actually have missiles on them. These little red capsules, I guess. It's 50 hemisphere. And 4-3. That'll be our dude. Our guy. Our digs. Right. So now any luck, we'll bomb the shit out of everything. Yeah, actually just kind of fires those things at really high pressures. Yeah, we're going so fast with these bombs, we don't even need this garbage. So actually, we're going to try screwing with the coupler a little bit here, and this will either fuck everything up or make everything great again. Hashtag make everything great again. Hashtag all lives matter. So, right. Shit. Yeah, so now I'm just kind of firing these as rockets. So I guess the logical solution for anyone who's a complete and total psychopath would be to dismantle this rig, strap it to a coupler, and yeah, we're basically just going to couple all this crap together. A 75 red, And yeah, this is going to be important. I'm going to have one here, one here, one here, and one here. We're basically going to fire these in sets of 2, I'm thinking. Nah, not even that important. Right. Yeah, we're just going to fire about, I think, 8 of these tops. That's going to be my plan. And I'm going to install a delay property because I think that's how I enjoy missiles the most. 0 delay, 10 delay, 20 delay, 30 delay. And we're going to start screwing with the angles here. Yeah, it's about all the angle screwing we're going to do. Hashtag angle screwing. Yep, just ruining everything today, aren't I? Okay, well. There we go. That should unscrew things for once. Oh yeah, also we don't need these capitals on, fuck, I'm thinking, so take those off. Let's sucker to 5. Let's see, this guy to 15, I guess. This guy to 25. This guy to 35. Yeah, I'm just going to mess with the angles accordingly. Right, so I just have a crap load of bombs we can drop, but not really that exceptional by any means, but hey. In fact, they're pretty awful looking. So we have all these random red lumps in our belly of our craft now. That's not bad. That's a nice little linear bombing run. Yeah, blow the shit out of everything. Yeah, these are moving so fast. 5 seconds is complete and total overkill, so we're going to fix that and we're going to dial it down to about 2. That's the call I'm making here. 2, 2. And yes, this is a lot of fine tuning, so if you hate the bomb step and you just want to skip it, I don't blame you, but I think it's fun to have a plane that can drop bombs on things. That's another good way to be anti-ground. I wouldn't really use, I don't know what we're going to do against other planes other than get on their tail and fill them full of MG lead, because that's our best weapon right now. By and far. These bombs will totally suck ass, but they will be fun. And you know what? I'd rather build a fun machine than a functional machine. Although if you can have a bit of both, why not, right? Right. Yeah, so that's much better bombing interval. About 3 seconds of reload, 2 seconds of time to reach the target. Great, so now we're going to have to actually rebalance our AGD stuff and install some thrusters so this thing flies. Yes, that's right. The day is coming, suckers. So let's go and do the thing that's really important to do if you actually want to use the goddamn airplane. I know, I waited way too long to do this, but you have to pardon me on that front. And yeah, we're just going to make a big old block like this. I think this will be how we do our 3 gears. Great, so now we have gears 1, 2, and 3 with, we're going to start with probably I don't know what the hell this number is with thrusters. This is probably complete and total, no, this is total overkill. We're going to start with 9 thrusters. And let's see, we're going to go gear 1, gear 2, gear 3, gear 3. Again, doing actually quick. There we go. So interval of 12. This is my little secret for automatically repeating afterburners. Gear 1 is going to be 50. Gear 2 is going to be 100. Gear 3 is going to be turbo. And if you leave the turbo on, you're a complete dumbass, but I can't stop you. We're only going to do the turbo gear in the inner 5, which is probably still overkill, just FYI. Right, and we're going to install a reverse key, because we are not that stupid. Also, we're going to install a forward key. Oh, actually, no, we don't have one of those. Huh. So, actually, we're going to rebind bombs to 1, and which is going to make us drop bombs. Now, we're going to rebind X to be... What am I thinking of here? Reverse. This is in case you crash into a wall with your airplane and you get stuck. It's a very non-airplane style feature, but if you're going in for low elevation bombing grounds and stuff, you're going to want this, period. I wouldn't even call it a question. It's an answer. And the answer is yes. So let's do 100. Back the sucker up with about the same force we'd go forward with, actually. And theoretically, we should have an airplane that does everything I want it to do, and we're going to watch it totally fall apart anyways. So, we're going to go into optics mode. We're going to engage our aiming module. Should share things, check. Bomb crap out of things. Oh yeah, look at that. That X is me in reverse. Okay, we're going to punch it in gear 1. We're moving at about 250 kilometers an hour. That is combat speed, it's plenty. Gear 2 is taking us at about 320, so about 50% faster, despite being 100% more thrust. And 3 is going to send us catapulting at 700 to 900, depending on the point in the burst. And actually isn't completely annihilating energy, so that's pretty sweet. Actually, we might want more, we don't want more pitch force, I think. That's going to sound crazy, but yeah, we're going to want it. And let's see. Yeah, just up this sucker to 100 on all fronts. And yeah, that's basically the main thing we're going to want, is the ability to apply very large amounts of pitch to yaw very quickly. That's how most airplanes do yawing, you know. You might be able to do like a little bit of yaw, depending on the exact make, but the best way to do it in anything that is plane-based is by far roll. Just absolutely just punch it like this and just 180 like that. That being said, I'm not sure if what we have is what we want. Yeah, we can also use this to gain and lower elevation. And in case you don't want to roll, we of course have the roll stabilize key. Just very handy. Use this to increase, decrease elevation, whatever the situation calls for. And yeah, you can see this performs pretty well in terms of airplane. But yeah, we don't have quite enough power still. And I know that's an absolutely insane statement, but I think it's true. So we're going to actually expand this into 2 different thrusters at 75 power each. Yeah, that's our pitch up. This might be overkill. In fact, it probably is. I'd almost be willing to bet it's overkill. But we're going to find this perfect balance because it's what the craft needs, quite frankly, to be able to make sharp maneuvers. Right, so let's give this sucker one more go. And yeah, boom. And gear 2. Roll, pitch. It's still lackluster in my book, but I think it'll do. And yeah, this is going to be quite interesting because we don't really have a direct means of yawing. So we might actually add some manual yawing while we have some time. We're totally out of time for this tutorial, I would like to say, but unfortunately I'm an idiot, so that's not true. Yeah, we're going to have to need the yawing for finer aim. We could always, actually, yeah, we're probably better off doing that. I don't think we have the space to make the guns rotate. Ideally they would pivot 360 like a turret, so you could shoot anything at any angle. But we don't have that kind of luxury by the sound of it. So, next step is, if that's how you do pitch, this is going to be how you do yaw. And this yaw is going to be extremely dangerous to use, so I'm going to warn you right here, right now, don't be a dumbass. Yeah, we already have the yaw left, yaw right. So I already thought ahead, knew this would be necessary. I just forgot I knew it would be necessary, that's all. And yeah, we're going to do probably about 100 in each of these, because I imagine the yawing is going to be horribly lackluster. Yeah, I think that's going to be... And this will give us... Whoops, that's roll left. I don't want roll left, Jesus. What a mess that would make. Right, so, here we go. Now, if we're lucky, we'll be able to yaw and stuff, and we're going to rebalance the AGDs after that, and that will probably fix most of our problems. And yeah, look at this yawing. This yawing is pretty horrible for the most part, but you can yaw. You can shoot stuff when you're yawing, so that's pretty nice. Yeah, look like our level of ass pummeling is pretty good. What did X do? I forgot what X did. Oh, X is a reverse. So you can also use the reverse key to actually stop if you're going forward. Start pelting the crap out of things from a singular position. That's kind of a pro tip I'll tell you right now. Someone's going to notice you and they're going to shoot the crap out of you because you're a big dainty airplane. And we have 628 health. And again, we haven't set our speed limit either. And the speed limit will constrain how fast we can move in some respects, but we're going to set about 330 because I think that was about our cap in Gear 2. And that's really the only important speed. So we'll gain HP from that. But now we need to rebalance our AGDs. So we're going to sit still and we're going to see how this affects our flight. Or rather elevation. And we are rising at a couple meters every second. So we're probably at least about 100 units of weight over. Actually, we're more like probably about 60. So I'm going to going to set this to neutral 40. Cause a slight rebalance, which hasn't screwed anything up. And now we are falling about a meter once every 2 or 3 seconds. So we're going to add back about 5, I'm going to make the call. This is now neutral 45. And let's see. We're now rising at about a meter once every several seconds. So we're going to go back. We're going to lower this 1 unit. Oh, I think we're still rising. Wow, we've definitely cut about the rise rate in half, I would say. But it's not going to be perfect because you can only use whole integers without doing some really wonky shit anyways. If you wanted like 43.5 or something, you could set up 2 events you have to press at the start of your thing, and it would forcefully engage both of the inputs at once. But yeah, if you look right now, we are actually floating almost perfectly level. We're not really changing meters that much. Might be getting a microscopic amount of rise, but that is about it. So we can put the plane back in gear 2. And yeah, we do what the hell we want now. See if we can do some bombing runs on this guy, just using some really lazy yawing, because his roll takes a while to stabilize. And yeah, if you have a better plane archetype to use, I am all ears. And in fact, I don't build planes for a living because they're not very combat practical. They're flimsy, they have a lot of energy, they waste a lot of energy moving around fast. They can't really assault objectives directly, and they don't do well in a straight fight against most tanks or bots. Tanks might have trouble using verticality, but mechs do not give a shit, and they will eat your plane alive. So that's my advice as a mech pilot. Don't be a plane. You might lose. Yeah, I can't seem to get locked on these bombs. Should have installed a bombing camera. If you want to install just a static bombing camera using a coupler later, that's totally an option. And look, totally missed. Alright, screw it, whatever. We might install mortars instead. Mortars are probably better as bombs for actually hitting shit, but for killing anything, launchers are better. So if you can find a tank and you can pelt them with these bombs, you might do some pretty solid damage, actually. But for now, this tutorial has gone on way too long, but we have a plane that yaws, rolls, pitches, can reset its roll conveniently, has aiming nose guns that you can pelt things with pretty easily. It's not a whole lot to look at, but if you want to build upon this and do some research and development, or you have a better base that you can use, do that. For now, this is all I know about planes. Someone asked me to make one. That's all I got. And if I actually want to fly a plane, I'm not going to fly a plane. I'm going to fly the Helios. Bonus feature. Do you hate planes? Do you like mechs? Then fly the goddamn Helios. It's part plane and part mech and 100% ass kicker. It's not a perfect vehicle in every regard, but it functions as a plane, and you can shoot shit with it at a lot of angles. And once that gimmick is totally done and you don't need to do strafing runs on the enemy, what you can do is quite frankly just transform back again, stick the landing, 10-pointer, boom, and then light the enemy back up on foot. I'm just going to plug that because I know I build shit planes, but the Helios has a good mech and a moderately okay plane at best. So assuming I've even updated this in low latest version on the workshop or anything even close, despite its high cost and high complexity to fly, I enjoy the Helios more than I will any other plane, and that's my 2 cents. Anyways, shameless whore plugging done. That's all for today's tutorial. Thanks for tuning in.